wasn't anything like that. It wasn't abuse. It was a wrong teaching that had someone enslaved.
She introduced my husband to her family as her friend.
Okay.
And she introduced me to them as a person who washed her clothes.
That is a bit extreme though.
Inspired, informing nations, supporting people in real, effective deliverance.
Good day. Welcome back to the DRM Inspired, where we inform nations, support people in real, effective deliverance. We are continuing with our forgiveness sessions and series where we are interviewing Sister Ramkissoon, one of our beloved team members. She's describing to us a scenario and a situation, what happened in her marriage. In our last session, we had talked about how they had met, how they got married, started their family, the way they got saved, and where things started to go wrong. So Sister Ramkissoon, welcome back. So great to have you with us again. And we just want to build on and continue with what the story that you, or not story, because this is your life, of your testimony that you were sharing concerning when things started to go wrong within your marriage. So you had mentioned that your husband was very fervent for the Lord. He loved the Lord. You all had your family. You all were serving Christ and living the marriage that God had ordained.
Yes.
So you said that it started going wrong when he had visited a church and he saw miraculous healing, and that had inspired him to keep attending that church.
Yes.
What is it concerning that church and him going there that caused a problem in your marriage?
Well, it caused a problem because they never see me as his wife.
Or they didn't acknowledge you as his wife?
They see me as a maid.
Wow.
Because, okay, when he started going there to church and things like that, he will go every time he's off. He will 2 days late and 2 days she will come back 2 nights.
Okay.
So when he's not at home, I will go there. He was in a training process when he met these people.
Yes, because you said he was doing
Yes.
training when he took the guy across.
Yes.
Right.
And he was working pure daylight from 7 to 3. So
Okay.
and evening when he come from work, he will go across there.
He'll go to every evening. He'll
He
go to
will
church.
go across and
Every evening he'll go to
most
church.
of the evenings,
Most
he will
evenings,
go
he will go to
and
church.
and things like that.
Okay.
Now, he didn't have, we had 6 kids. They were going to school.
All right.
And it was difficult because he was not getting a full salary because he was in training to be an operator.
Oh.
So,
And then he's not home either.
yes,
Okay, because he's at church.
right. So, they had some water problems, they said, and they used to bring their clothes home. I to wash for them. I will do it for them.
I'm sorry. Could you? So are you saying the pastors of the church
Yes.
used to ask you to wash
Yes, their clothes.
their clothes for them?
Yes,
Okay.
I used to wash it. And
Not they come and use your washing machine.
No.
Okay.
he comes and I wash
I just
it.
have to. Okay.
And things like that used to happen. Sometimes I will cook for them. Because he was in his training, we had a little financial problem.
All right. Things would have been tight. 6
Yes.
kids and not full salary.
Yes. And when things were going tight, sometimes we will, because of them, they will drop a little market.
Oh, so they used to come and give
Yes,
you guys
they
stuff.
will, Brother Ramkissoon will bring it.
Okay, so there was.
But in my heart, I never wanted it. Never
Okay.
please or take it.
Okay.
So sometimes when he bring it, I will throw it away.
Oh wow. Is it that you felt like
No,
something was
in my
done with it?
In my spirit, I never wanted it.
Okay.
But we were managed. God always provided for us. Always provided for us. When Brother Rocky, well, at that point in time, I couldn't. I used to, was the person who used to go to the bank, take all the money, buy my groceries, my market, and give my children everything. I would stop off doing that.
So you were not allowed?
I would not allow it because they told him he's the man. He have to go and make the groceries. He have to do everything. I must not be.
Wait, so they told him that you not to
Yes.
have access to his money anymore,
Yes.
that he is the one that has to go.
Yes.
So they essentially, like you said, cut you out of his
They cut me
life.
off of it. So
Wow.
I did not say anything. I left it. I was displeased, but I left it. But God is a good God. The day that he had to go from weekly pay to monthly pay, the boss called home.
Okay.
They told me, he called him where he is and told him to come in the wages and sign up
Right.
monthly. I said, okay. They told me how much he was going to get.
Okay.
I did not tell him, I did not say anything. I left. I called him and I told him. He says, well, why do they have to call you? I says, they called and said to go and sign up. He went and signed up.
Well, I sense in those days they didn't have cell phones, so if the call is the house phone, they would have called.
So he went and he signed up. The monthly pay first paid was on my birthday.
Ah,
But I
celebration.
said, no, I did not get anything. I did not get anything. I did not get any birthday gift. I didn't get anything. That's okay.
Where did the money go?
You will find out later. Now, having 6 kids and they are in school,
Right.
it is difficult.
Of course.
I said okay. But the earlier part in my marriage, I went to a wedding, one of his friend's wedding. I had 3 children, and I had asked the Lord, because he was a gauger in Patricia, and I had asked the Lord, I said, Lord, when my husband will be an operator, that he
Okay.
could afford to get a good salary.
Right.
It taken about 10 years,
It took 10 years.
but training and everything. I helped him many times, week and night, help him to study.
To study, wow.
But
Okay.
sometimes I couldn't tell him everything. But one night he was doing the drawing, and I looked at it and I told him, I said, you missed that, you missed that, you missed that. He said, how do you know? I said, go through it, man. When he went through the drawing, he saw he missed it.
Right, because you're studying with him, so you're
Yes,
familiar
I
with the
would go
work.
through all the.
So that means you could have gone and petitioned and operated.
So I said, okay. I never quarreled, say anything about the money. But God is good, and every time he got it increased, I would. Every time.
So he got the job, he's getting his increases, his increments.
I would. Sometimes he will go to the bank and take out a loan. Never tell me, but I will know. I will get some paper somewhere, something, and I will find out. When I ask them, that's not my business.
So, just to understand a bit more, in terms of what was going on with the church, could you explain like what their teaching was like? Was it like scriptural, or is it that they inserted their own things?
Well, they didn't have a church.
It wasn't a church.
They
Okay.
didn't have a church. They used to go and keep crusade.
Crusades. Okay.
Yes, in Pina. And once or twice I went with Brother Ramkissoon because they told him I have to come with him for other people to see.
That he is a family and
Yes.
okay.
So I went with him, things like that. After a while in our life, he asked me to come and have service once a month in my home.
Okay.
I was displeased, I was not. My children were not pleased about it. But being the head of the home, I said, okay. But I said, Lord, if it's your will, it will happen. And if it's not your will, you will crush it. I had to get up that Sunday morning when they have service by us. I had to get up and cook for everybody that is coming to that service.
I'm sorry, there's a service where they give food?
Yes. I had to make dal pudding, curry chicken, and rock it and give. If there's about 30 people coming, I had to make 30. Plus I had to make extra for them. Then all of a sudden, Ransom told me that they kind of give them rum. You have to come and sit on the table and eat. I did all of that, but I always said every Sunday that they have service, Lord, if it's your will, it will happen, and if it's not your will, you'll take it up. It lasted only about 3 months.
It would last a week. From the time you tell me I had to cook for everybody every time they come, service done. Church done, close up, everybody pack up. So you said for 3 months, they had the service at your home and then you had to cook. What were some of the other demands they would have made from you guys, or their expectations from you guys?
Well, they wanted me to take part, and I was never wanted to take part.
Right.
I took my back seat. My children took a back seat.
Your children took a back seat as well?
My son was very, very hungry. One Saturday night, he went outside by the village and stayed all night outside. He did not come home.
Your son?
Yes. Because he did not want to have part of anything.
Okay.
And when it finished, they say that because they're not coming anymore, because I am not showing myself friendly, I am not being obedient and taking part of it.
They left.
I agree. I say okay. They went on. I think they had started to have service by one of Brother Ramkissoon's friends or something like that. I had no part to play.
I think the expectations.
If anything what they had, I had no part to play.
Expectations are a little high. Expecting a meal.
I
would
never hear anything because he would never come home and tell us anything.
Okay. So in terms of other expectations, so things like his time, because it talks about him having to go there almost every day he was there. And then you said as well that finances, he became the operator.
Yes.
And
His
then
finances were good, but it never came good home.
it never came home. So is it that they were asking?
I don't know what he did.
You didn't
because he
know what
never
was
told
done.
me anything.
Okay.
I took upon my own self and I went and got a job.
You had to work now. So can I just backtrack a bit? So is it that you weren't getting much, or it's just that you weren't getting much, or not at all?
We were not getting enough to pay bills and to support my kids.
But he had a good job.
He had a good job. He had everything.
So because the details don't know, you suspect it may be that they were the ones that were demanding.
Yes. But he would always say sometimes that they send money here or they send money places they give money to.
Okay, so he was donating.
That's what he said. So I don't know. Because I couldn't ask a question to get an answer.
So that communication you had before when you were
No.
married and all that just went.
We could not touch one another. I could not touch him.
I'm sorry, what do you mean like touch?
Yes, if I go to be sleep, if I sleep on the bed and I touch him, move, go one side.
So they had even caused a separation.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of what they told him or what was said? Well, I guess we're gonna get that when we speak with him.
Well, as I told you, I was never recognized as his wife.
Of his wife.
Because what made me to realize that I had no part in it is one day the pastor wife father house had burned down, and he took me with him
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted me to make some dinner for them. So I made it and
I see you already cook. Okay.
so when I went, we were there. She introduced my husband to her family as her friend. And she
Okay.
introduced me to them as a person who washed her clothes.
Oh wow.
So from there,
You were introduced, this is my clothes washer. Wow.
I put my head together and I
Right.
said I had enough.
Okay.
So I stopped going there. So I didn't know anything that was going on at that point in time. Only if by mistake she called them on their house phone. I had two phones. So I used to go in the room sometimes and I would listen. So that's how sometimes I would get to know.
You were a little sneaky though. That sometimes you had to be a little investigative when craziness going on
But
in your house.
as I tell you, everything that happens sometimes, I will get to know a little part.
So God was just showing you snippets and insights to let you know what. So you got to find out about the salary changes. You got to find out about, what happened with in terms of their demands and their expectations from him, in terms of wanting money to do church activities and.
Yes, because he had stopped all males from coming home of his own, from coming home, so I wouldn't get any information.
They stopped your mail from coming home.
My husband meals, all his meals stopped coming like from bank and
It started going to where?
to work. Why don't
So no more meals coming. That is a bit extreme though.
you? You know, but God is always good. We had a friend of us one day. I was going to the doctor, and he stopped and he picked me up and he watched me and he asked me what happened. So when I told him, he he said, let me tell you something. You keep your head up high and make sure that nothing ever pulls you down. Keep your head up high. That he had known these people then and he knows everything. You know, life had swing a different, complete. And
I'm just imagining all the changes. His time is gone, money is gone, the demands the church expecting, how they treat him, how he started treating you.
and the children now turn up different because they get older. They didn't want to go to church anymore because their father were not going with them.
Okay, so they got to know it from the
Yes, they get all of them got to know from the Lord. No. And it was hard on me because I would still go to church. I will still do what I have to do.
What church you started going to? The same friends with your friends. So you said you started to work.
Yes.
What kind of job you had to
I
get?
work at Super Caterers. I worked there because I went in and then I started to work as to help out and wash the wares and things like that. But I made friends with a cook.
Okay.
And he teach me how to cook and what to.
Oh, he's also wait. So all these culinary skills.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it.
But all my daughters went out to work too.
Your daughters went to work
Yes.
as well to try to pitch in.
Yes.
Can I say something? I do love the way I notice a lot that your family, even though everybody is most are married or on their own, you guys always still support each other's lives.
Yes.
Like one sister would drop market for the other one, the next one would drop off food, this one would drop off this, so that you all are still taking care of each other, even though you all are not living in the same
Yes,
place.
because I have never put my kids against their father.
I was gonna ask you that. How did you manage to keep?
I never put them against them. For Father's Day, he will all come home. Even though when they get married, they will come home. I will cook all of them, eat, enjoy themselves. He's not around. For his birthday.
So they come for Father's Day to celebrate, but he's not there.
Yes, but they still celebrate.
They still
For
celebrate.
his birthdays, they will do the same thing.
And he's still not there for his own birthday.
No.
Were he there for your birthdays? It seems not. No.
He was never
So he
there.
was almost like completely absent.
Yes, he was most complete stranger in town.
A strange. Wow. Okay.
So, life goes on. I went to work and things like that. I leave school because when Melcher had passed her A-levels and she had to go to uni. When Melcher passed her A-levels, I did not know what to do. I went back to Maribel Senior Set to get her to repeat. But she had already get accepted in uni because she had write the exam.
Okay.
So now I didn't know when I went to the class about to repeat because what to do with her. So I said okay. The teacher said no. She already got accepted.
Just the grace to get in. Yeah.
So I said okay. I did not know what to do. I called a friend who was the cook in Superb. I asked him. I said, could you carry me? He said yes. I took Melcher and I went and I registered her without her father knowing.
Oh, he didn't know because he wasn't there.
So now I had to register her and I didn't know what else to do. When I told him, he was very angry because now he had to find finances to support
That
her.
was because that's how I met your daughter actually, Milsha from UE. And funny enough is that you guys met Derek first, and then in me getting introduced to you, Milsha happened to be there. I'm like, oh my god, I know Milsha. That's my girl. So we had actually interned together at Pageantry. We did an internship together, Milsha, and I had worked together with another friend. We won't talk about business, but it was a long story, but
Between all of that, I leave school and then after a couple of years after, I went to Knick-Knack. They had asked me to come and run the kitchen.
okay.
And I did that, all of that. And from there, I left and I went to the States to work. Because Melcher had
Right.
1 year she went to uni and she had left uni.
Okay.
And now she wants to go back to uni. Her father says no. So I had to find the finances to support
So
her.
there seems to be a whole flip in the whole structure that your family was before.
Yes,
So,
it was a whole different.
so is it that because you said that they told him that he was the head of the home? So was it like he was the head or he was not the head? Because he wasn't there either.
He was not there, and he was not there as a father figure. He was not there as a husband, and he was not there to fully finance everything. He was not there. Because it had a time while I was working, I went away and I came back. And when I came back, I get back my job at Knick-Knack. And while I was working, one Sunday evening, I called for him to where he was by the pastor because it's coming late and I have to go on Sunday to get ready, get
Transport.
So I said, okay. When I called, the woman answered the phone. Why are you calling here for? He's not here, he's by somebody else. I said, okay.
Why did that sound like so you calling your husband to find out and the pastor is
Pastor wife answered the phone and she said, he's not here, he's by somebody else. I said, okay. I put down the phone and came home. When I came home, I saw him in the cushion. So
he was home.
yes. So I told him, I said, I called for you and they said that you are not here, you're by somebody else. He started to get on, pack up his clothes, and he left.
He left home.
He left home and he went across by there.
You were by them. Oh,
Yes.
wow.
My kids and them were gone already now.
Okay.
So he went there and he was staying there. And he's not calling, he's not saying anything.
This is how many years into your marriage?
This maybe Marianne, she had done my exam already when she was 3 years when it started. And she was going.
So this is going on with him. This has been happening for how many years?
This happened for approximately more than 20 years.
At the time when he moved out, how long was it? About how much years
This
was
was
that?
about say 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
So let's say roughly about 20 years into your marriage, he moved out.
Yeah. No, he came back home.
He came back home.
Yes, he came back home. This is how we end up coming back home. I told my daughter-in-law, I said, put your phone, she had her cell phone. I said, put your phone on private. She said, okay. I said, call home my dad and say, this is police so-and-so.
Police?
Police so-and-so, call me
Okay.
and find out where this person is.
Okay.
She did it. She watched me. She did it. She did it. She called home by dad. And I didn't say anything. I left it so. 10 minutes after, Ramkissoon called home. Say, yeah, did you tell the police station, call the police station and tell them that I am not home? I said, I did not call anybody. So he leave from them. And he went home by his mother.
Oh, okay.
So he stayed about a month by his mother. Then he came back home. Before he came back home, he said he's laid down some rules. So I said, okay, no problem.
I'm gonna stop you right here. So guys, it has, I'm trying to take you because it seems like it's been a lot for a number of years of what you have been going through. Particularly such the contrast of how your marriage started to where it was now. You were best friends. And now you can't even touch him. He left home. And all of this because of what he was getting from a church. It wasn't another woman, it wasn't an affair, it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't abuse, it was a wrong teaching that had someone enslaved to false ministers. Let's put it like that. So you have to come and tell us the rules, but we're gonna give in our next session. We're gonna tell us what the rules were like, and then what was the turning point in God really changing things within your marriage. So guys, we would be back. I know for a lot of us it's like I'm still soaking in. So again, please don't forget to like, subscribe, click that notification bell, leave a comment. Do you know anyone who has ever, been somewhere where they were supposed to receive of the Lord, but the enemy came in instead and they got enslaved? Let us know. I know some of you are going to ask, what church is this? But we do not want to reveal. I'm going to say that up front. We're not going to reveal because our aim is not to blacklist or to shine light, even though it would be beneficial. I would tell you what to look out for to know that if someone is trying that, how to recognize, but not necessary to blacklist. So guys, we will be back. Stay tuned.
Informing nations, supporting people in real, effective deliverance. Inspired